بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum everyone. We can start our session today. We are starting on passives. So this is chapter 8 on the Dream Textbook. Alhamdulillah, we've covered 8 chapters so far. And Basic Nahu has 11 chapters. So this weekend we might do 2 topics, hopefully. And then the last topic, the chapter 11, we'll finish next week, inshallah. And that will be the end of Basic Nahu. Then we can go to Sarf, which is going to be exciting. So today we're covering passive, and we're going to start from, I'm going to start from the beginning of the chapter. So we are going to use the textbook today and the Dream Workbook. We're going to start with al-mustalihat, which means terminology. So we're just going to look at different terminology that we have here before we get into the passive world. So we have fi'al ma'loom, and a fi'al ma'loom is an active verb where the doer is known. So you know who's doing the action. You know, like if I say dhahaba ar-rajulu, the man went, I know the person doing the action is the man. So this is ma'loom, fi'al ma'loom. The fa'il, the doer, is known. Then we have the fi'al majhul, which is the passive verb. Remember when you're doing the sarf, we have the active line and then we have the passive line. So the active line is basically all ma'loom. We know the doer, and then the passive line is majhul. That's why we say mabni lil majhul, ماضي مبني للمجهول, مضارع مبني للمجهول, because we don't know the doer. It is the passive verb, it is the passive line. So فعل مجهول is a verb whose doer is not known. Then we have the naibul fa'il. Now this is the done to from the passive line. Okay, so because in the passive we don't know the doer. Like for example, if I say the cake was eaten, I don't know who did the eating, but I know what was eaten. What was eaten was the cake. So the cake in this sense becomes the naibul fa'il. I know what was being done to, but I don't know who did the doing. So that's basically naibul fa'il, the one affected by a passive fa'il. Then we have fa'il lazim. So a fi'al lazim is an intransitive verb, which means basically it's a fi'al that cannot take a maf'ul bihi. For example, if I said I slept, I cannot add a maf'ul bihi to I slept. I cannot say I slept you. What would that make? It won't make sense. I slept you. No. I slept bed. No, I cannot say that. It's not correct English. So something that cannot take a who or a what, that is an intransitive verb, and in Arabic we call it fi'al lazim. And I shall be using these terminologies more than the English terminologies. So fi'al lazim. And then of course the opposite of a fi'al lazim is fi'al muta'addi, which is a transitive verb, and it's a fi'al that can take a maf'ul bihi. So if I say, for example, I read a book. I read a book. What did I read? A book. So that answers the question what, and that becomes my maf'ul bihi. So it is a verb that can take a maf'ul bihi, and therefore it is muta'addi. And then of course the last terminology that we have here is muta'addi li maf'ulain or muta'addi bi maf'ulain. So this is a verb that can take 2 maf'uls. So a verb that has 2 maf'uls, and we're going to see a list of some of those verbs. For example, if I say I made you a cake. I made you a cake. So there are 2 maf'uls in this case that comes with the fi'al make or I made. And that is I made who? For you. And then what did I make? A cake. So I made you a cake. Any questions so far on those terminologies? Okay, great. So we're just going to look at some of the af'al that are muta'addi bi maf'ulain, that take 2 maf'uls. This is an important list to know because then you can be able to understand the i'rab of the different words in a sentence. So علم يعلم تعليما, to teach. You can be able to teach someone something. I taught you i'rab. I taught you Quran. Or the teacher taught me how to jump. Okay, so all that, it takes two maf'uls. So علم, to teach.
Sister, I can't hear you. Are you muted?
All this time.
No, I can hear you all this time.
Okay. I was a bit, I was scared. Okay, so maybe check your microphone. Maybe try and log out and then log in with.
No, now I can hear you. It was like gone for a fraction of seconds, I guess, for some amount of time.
Okay,
Like
sorry.
5 to 6 seconds. Yeah. Not a problem.
All right. I was a bit worried. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so علم يعلم تعليما. That's one of the words. Then وقى يقي وقايا, وقاية, which means to protect. Where we get the word taqwa actually comes from this same, from this tarf. So to protect you from what? Like to protect, for example, in this ayah, فَوَقَاهُمْ اللَّهُ الشَّرَّ. Allah protected them from the evil. شَرَّ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ, from the evil of that day. So you have those two maf'uls over there. وَفَّى يُوَفِّي تَوْفِيَةً, to reward or to give something the full share of something. Like to reward is an easier way, but also like just to compensate. I think it's a better word, to compensate. So compensate who with what? That's kind of like how it takes a مفعول به. جعل يجعل جعلا. I have already given an example on that. اتخذ يتخذ اتخاذا, to take. So to take something as what? So take this as this. Okay. And by the way, مفعول, just to recap, when we were looking at مفعول, I think we mentioned about 5. مفعول به, مفعول له, مفعول منه معه, مفعول فيه, مفعول حال. Which one did I miss? I think yeah. مفعول مطلق. Yes. Yeah, 6. So those are 6, and we're talking about all those different مفعوls. Like it can take a مفعول حال, for example, like this next word, رأى يرى رؤية, it takes a مفعول حال. So فلما رأى الشمس بازغة. بازغة is a مفعول حال. What did he see? He saw the sun. How did he see it? بازغة. He saw it rising. And you see that's why it's translated as ing. So it can take those two مفعوls. And then of course you have ظن يظن ظنا, to assume. ظننت, I assumed this to be this. Okay. حسب يحسب حسبانا, to consider.
Sister, here we are talking about a verb taking two mafuls, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. These are all the different verbs that can take two mafuls. It's not always, but they can.
So they can take two mafuls of any kind.
Yes. Well, it's mostly maf'ul bihi, but for ra'a, as you can see, ra'a, it takes a maf'ul hal. But the others are usually maf'ul bihi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can they take more than 2?
No. You have other verbs that can take maybe more than 2, but these ones can only take 2. I don't know, maybe I'll have to research verbs that are muta'addi, the more than one maf'ul. That one, more than 2. That one is something I need maybe to research. I'm not sure. Okay, and we're going to see why it is important to know the verbs that take more than 2, especially when it comes to passives. What happens with that? Because we are saying, you know, passives, if they cannot take a maf'ul. And what if that means they don't have the passive line? But what about fi'ils that can take 2 maf'ul? What happens to them in the passive line? So that's kind of why this discussion is important. ظن يظن ظنا, again, to assume. So assume what to be what? I assumed him to be good. You understand how it's coming? Like I assumed him good. Same way, consider. These two kind of have like similar meanings, so they kind of function in a similar way. وجد يجد وجودا, to find. So I found him digging, or I found him good, or I found him present. So who did you find and how did you find them? Or, you know, what did you find? ترك يترك تركا, again, to leave. I left him crying. That could be a مفعول حال. Or I left it good, like I left it in a good state. Yeah, it could be something like this. And of course you have the examples in the Quran. فَتَرَكَهُ سَلْدًا. And you know, it leaves it bare. So Allah is giving an example. This is one of the are they called similitude, or the examples in the Quran, basically. I don't know, that word is hard for me. Then you have أعطى يعطي إعطاء, to give, but it is an important list of vocabulary that you can actually try and practice with yourself. So أعطى يعطي إعطاء, to give someone something. I gave you a book. Makes sense? I gave you, first مفعول, a book, second مفعول. جزا يجزي جزاء, again to compensate, to reward. Kind of like it works with like wafa. We saw wafa, same kind of meaning and the way they work together. سقى يسقي سقاية, or asqa, also from the aslama family. So both the family 1 and family 4, they have the meaning of to give drink, and that way to give someone which drink. Like I gave him water. So him, first maf'ul, water, second maf'ul bihi. Adkhala, again, same thing. And most of the time you will see that if you put, we will talk about, I think in advanced nahu, where we'll talk about muta'addi biharf, where if you can make fi'ls that are lazim, fi'ls that don't take a maf'ul, you can actually make them to take a maf'ul by doing certain things. One of them is to put a harf of jar. Another thing you can do is to put them in aslama family. Another thing you can do is to put them in allama family, and so on and so forth. So you will see that most of the words, I'm not saying all the words, I'm saying most of the words in aslama family has the meaning of to make someone do something, or like to give someone a drink, to make someone enter. Dakhala is lazim. You yourself, you're entering. So dakhaltul bayt, I entered the house. But adkhaltuhul bayt, so you see I put a adkhaltuhu, I made him enter the house. So it takes two maf'ul. Baddala yubaddilu tabdilan, again, like I mentioned, you can put a verb that is lazim into allama family, and it becomes mutaaddi. For example, badala is to change, but baddala is to exchange, like it has it exchange something for something else. That is baddala. Razaqa yarzuqu rizqan, so to bless something or to provide. So he blessed me with something, or he provided me with food. So me, I'm the first maf'ul, and then food is the second maf'ul. So that's just the list of al-muta'addi bi maf'ulayn. What I want us to look at right now is just a couple of uses. Why do we need what are the benefits of a passive voice? Why do we speak in a passive voice? What is the importance of me saying the cake was eaten instead of me saying Ahmed ate the cake? What is the reason? Especially when it comes to the Quran, not for any other reason. So there are 3 reasons why this is mentioned. So number 1, when there's no reason to mention the dua. Like I don't need to mention the dua. It's not important. It's not going to help in any matter. So I don't mention the dua because it's not important. For example, in the ayah in the Quran, وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُم بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّوهَا. You know, if you cannot actually mention here the dua, because Allah is just talking about all of us. Like if you are greeted with a greeting, then greet using a better greeting. Like there's no point in saying, you know, if so and so comes to you and greets you, like there's no need. If anybody just greets you, then, you know, return a better greeting. So that's one reason. The other reason is, of course, out of respect for Allah. Like, for example, in Surah Al-Jinn, the jinn, when they are narrating what was happening in the skies before the Quran was being revealed, they said, وَأَنَّا لَا نَدْرِي أَشَرٌ أُرِيدَ بِمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَمْ أَرَادَ رَبُّهُمْ رَشَدًا. So in the first part, urida is being used, which is passive. Sorry, urida is being used next to shar, evil. So next to evil, urida is being used, passive. We don't want to associate evil with Allah, and these are the jinn speaking, by the way. These are not human beings. These are not us. These are the jinn who are righteous. So they don't want to associate evil with Allah. They distance out of honor and respect for Allah. They do that so that they can magnify the name of Allah. And then, of course, in the last part, when they're mentioning rashada, guidance, they mention rabbuhum. They mention the dua. So you see, that's just out of respect for Allah. And the last reason is, to expand the scope of the action. We talked about this, I think, in ma mawsula and alladhi. So one of them just it's more open than the other. And in the same way, and this is a balagha reason, when you don't specify the dua, it could be a number of duas. Could be several people doing the action. So for example, in this ayah, لُعِنُوا فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. So لُعِنُوا فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ, we don't know who cast them. They were cast in this world and the next. Maybe the angels, maybe the animals, maybe the trees, maybe the people around them, maybe the stones, maybe the heavens and the skies and the mountains and everything. They were all cast. Allah not specifying who cast them means it's even broader than that. So that's just the reason why passive is such an interesting, especially for balagha stuff, very interesting. Now we get to a summary of passives before we look at some of the exercises. And I know you think you might be learning Arabic, but let me tell you, the more you learn Arabic, the more you realize you're actually learning monkey code. Because when we started, we talked about flexibility, and you learned ooh-ah-ah. And you're like, okay, ooh-ah-ah, that sounds like monkey talk. And then now you're going to learn ooh-ooh-ee. And then you're going to learn ooh-ah-ah. And then when you get to sarf, you're going to learn mu'a and mu'i and so many monkey codes. So yeah, so don't be practicing Arabic when you're near a zoo, because the monkeys might respond to you. I'm just joking. But yeah, so this is like the summary of passives. So when you're looking at the past tense, how we know that it's a past tense, we look at this. U followed by E. So u-e. So the first word, the first letter is going to have a dhamma, and the second last letter is going to have a kasra. So u-e. Whatever is in between is all going to have a dhamma, and that's why we say u-u-e. So whatever is in between is going to be u. And then the second last letter is going to have e. And then when it comes to the mudari', you're going to have u-a-a, or rather u-a-a if you have the Hua version. So u-a-a. First letter u, second last letter a. It's going to be a all throughout. So just remember the monkey code u-u-e, u-a-a. Right. And of course we talked about fi'al lazim. It cannot take a maf'ul bihi. Muta'addi takes a maf'ul bihi. Muta'addi bi maf'ulin takes two maf'ul bihis. And it can be made passive, and have both a na'ibul fa'il and a maf'ul bihi. So remember, it takes two maf'uls, right? So one maf'ul is going to become the na'ibul fa'il, and then the other maf'ul is going to remain a maf'ul bihi. So this is the only case in which you can have a passive with both a na'ibul fa'il and a maf'ul bihi. Excuse me just a bit. I think somebody has some urgent. Somebody's calling me. Yes, you can ask.
You said dakhala is lazim. So if you put dakhala in aslama family, so it will be mutaaddi adkhaltuhu.
Yes.
I made him enter. So if I just wrote adkhaltu, so what will it be?
No, sorry, I said it was lazim. No, it's mutaaddi, but one maf'ul. So you put it in the aslama family, it becomes mutaaddi li maf'ulain. We can actually take this example. So adkhaltuhu al-bayta. We can say that.
Okay. If you just want to remove the who here, adkhaltu, what that means?
I made enter. It won't make any sense. It has to have a who.
It should have a maf'ul. It should have a maf'ul, right?
A maf'ul that is, yes, that is human in this case. Or you can, yeah, it doesn't have to be human. You can say I entered it.
So there will be no word like adkhaltu.
No. You can't just say adkhaltu.
Okay.
I made enter.
Okay.
I made enter what? Like it's
Okay.
incomplete. Yeah?
Incomplete. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So let's look at this فعل here. So dakhala, I entered the house. It's mutaaddi, but to only one maf'ul. Then I put it in the aslama family. It becomes mutaaddi li maf'ulain. So that's what actually happened. Like if you take a lazim, a word that is lazim, cannot take a maf'ul, you put it in the aslama family, it gains one maf'ul bihi. And then you take a mutaaddi verb, a verb that already takes a maf'ul bihi, you put it in the aslama family, it gains another maf'ul bihi. So now they become two. And the same way, if you take a word that is mutaaddi bi maf'ulain in the family one, put it in the aslama family, now it has the potential to take three maf'uls. So that's just kind of what happens. But doesn't mean that all the words in aslama family are like this. Okay, this is just one way. But doesn't mean all. That's an important disclaimer. So let's look at this. If I want to make passive, أدخلته البيت, and I want to say he was made to enter the house. In this case here, this one means I did the doing, so I made him enter the house. But I want to remove myself out of the equation and say he was entered into the house. Like he was made to enter the house. So how would that look like?
أدخل
Thank you.
البيت.
So yeah, it would be udkhila. So remember e udkhila. So e because it's the madi. Udkhila al-bayt. Udkhila al-bayta. And of course the who here, it went and became the naibul fa'il inside there. So you see that? He was entered. Initially it was I made him enter. But then when we made it passive, the maf'ul bihi number one became the naibul fa'il, so the huwa, and then al-bayta remained as the maf'ul bihi in this passive line. I don't know if that's clear. I know that's a bit tricky. Okay. Yeah, we'll do some examples and of course, yeah, and that's basically the summary of it. So let's look at some examples. So we're going to start from chapter 8 in the workbook, which means that it's your responsibility to make sure that so far from chapter 1 of basic Nahu, all these exercises, you're either familiar with or at least you've done them. So you can just make sure that at least, and they have the answer key there so you can check. Some of the answer keys have mistakes, so just be careful. All right, so we're going to start from chapter 8. So the instructions are memorize the, okay, so this one you do it on your own. Determine whether the following af'al are passive or active. So we're starting very easy. Okay, so there are 4 parts to this. And hopefully, inshallah, I hope we can be able to finish this chapter today. If not, we might skip a section and then go to the last section. So this is pretty easy just to identify. Is it majhul? Is it ma'lum? Is it passive or is it active? We'll start with number 1. And of course, they want us to translate, I think. Yeah, translate. Oh, specify number and gender. Oh, there's a lot we have to do. So we have to identify if it's passive or active. Then we have to translate. And then we have to specify number and gender. Muni'u. What do you guys think? Muni'u.
It is passive.
Passive. Because you hear the u, e sound. Yeah. And what is the gender and what is the number?
It's masculine and plural.
Yes. Let me write 3M.
Sister, this is a Dream Book,
Workbook.
the one that you're right now sharing on screen,
Yes.
the one that we had, or some updated version or something, because I can't find this exercise in my book.
This is not the textbook. So I was summarizing this the stuff I was reading from the textbook, the summary and whatnot. That is the textbook.
Okay,
You see up here?
okay.
Yeah. So this is the different. It's the workbook. Basically, it's just a book of exercises.
Okay. The
If you
one
don't
that
have
you
it-
shared previously, I guess you have shared it
Yes.
in the group previously.
Yes,
Yeah,
I shared
okay.
in the group.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take a look and go through those exercises. If you have any difficulty, you can let me know. You can either post it in the group or you can share with me separately, no problem. Okay, how do we translate منعوا? منع to prevent.
They were prevented.
Yeah, they were prevented. Okay, so where do I write here? So 3M. Or maybe I just skip the writing. They were prevented. We'll skip the translation. Then we have number 2. وجدت. وجدت.
معلوم.
معلوم. Who and the gender and number?
Gender is masculine. The number is singular.
Why is it masculine?
One is Anna.
So Anna can be
Both masculine and feminine.
exactly because you are feminine and you just said Anna, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Number-
found.
It's okay, no problem. Number 3, أكرمنا. أكرمنا. Remember monkey
Which-
caught?
Sure.
Yeah. it's
Majhul.
UI. Yeah. And the number? Gender.
Plural.
So this is,
Three
Plural
masculine,
and,
masculine or feminine.
yes. Why
Both.
masculine or feminine?
But being
نحن.
both.
Yeah. نحن. Could be for either or. So karama is to, akrama is to honor. So ukrimna would be,
We honor. We honor.
we were
We
on.
were honored.
we were honored. Right. رفعنا. رفعنا.
Majhul.
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 Again, OE sound. So what is the number and gender?
Plural. Plural.
Feminine.
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 Yes, plural feminine.
They
And
were, they
They
were
were
raised.
yes, them ladies were raised. Then number 5, بيّنة. بيّنة.
معلوم.
Yeah, this is
معلوم.
معلوم. There's no OE sound. There's no UA sound. So بيّنة is معلوم. So بيّنة is to clarify. No, sorry, بيّنة is to clarify. تبين is
We
to-
clarified.
So yeah,
We
he
were
clarified.
clarified.
He clarified. And so this is singular and masculine.
Plural.
Plural. It's nahnu,
Plural.
right?
masculine.
Oh, there's a shadda. I don't see that. Sorry. بيّنا. It's not بيّنا. بيّنا. It's بيّنا. So it's 3 plural or masculine. Feminine or masculine. Because نحن could either be. But yeah, good. كذبت. كذبت.
Passive.
Passive. Majhul.
Who's the doer?
Feminine.
But she. Yeah.
Yeah,
One feminine.
one feminine. Here version.
Yeah.
She was belied.
Yes, it was belied. Number 7, ذكرتم. ذكرتم.
Majhul.
Majhul.
UI.
Majhul.
Plural.
Three. Plural masculine. And
Masculine.
أنتم. Yeah. أنتم ذكرتم. Which would
You
mean
all were remembered.
You were reminded.
You all were remembered.
ذكرت. I think reminded.
Remembered.
You were reminded.
Reminded.
You were
Carol?
reminded.
Yeah.
all were reminded.
Or you were mentioned. Is that kara can mean remind or mention. Right.
And remember, sister?
Yes.
Zakara?
Zakara is to remember in the family 1.
Oh.
Yeah, this is Zakara. Allama family. Okay.
Remind of.
Yes. أمرنا. أمرنا.
معلوم.
Yeah, this is ma'alun. There's no u, nowhere. So أمرنا, and that will be
Nahnu.
Three masculine
3
or
masculine.
feminine.
Feminine.
yeah.
Be commanded.
Yes. أمرنا, he
He.
commanded.
We commanded.
He commanded us. No? What is happening here? أمرنا. Oh, we commanded. Sorry. Oh my God, I got confused a little bit there. Okay. أخذت.
Majhul.
Majhul.
Yeah.
Rule.
And
One
Singular.
One
masculine,
masculine
feminine.
or feminine.
Feminine.
yes, because it's
I
in
was
version.
taken.
I
Yeah.
was
I was taken.
Yeah, I
taken.
was taken. Yeah. فتحتا.
معلوم.
Yeah, معلوم. Because there's no OE anywhere. Oh, sorry, I jumped line. No, I didn't. Okay. فتحتا.
It's huma two feminine.
Right.
Yes, because of the ta. If it was fataha, then it would be two masculine. But fatahata, two feminine. Good.
They both opened.
Yes,
They
they both
both.
opened. So to translate the following ayat, we are given aflaha yuflihu is to be successful. So number 1, لا يرزقنهم الله رزقا حسنا. What do you guys think? How many words do you see in this part, first part? Let's go bit by bit.
Lam
Three.
is of
Lam
Tawheed.
التوكيد.
Then Ya is of Mudare.
يرزقنا
heavy.
and hum.
فعل مضارع
Then
heavy.
Noon
مفعول
of
به.
Kasr.
Yeah.
And
So,
لفظ الجلالة فاعل. And رزقا حسنا looks like مفعول. موصوف صفة.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. So لا يرزقنهم. These are 4 words here, or rather like 4 different parts of this word. So you have lam التوكيد in the beginning. Then يرزق, because of lam, it became يرزق instead of يرزق. So that's our فعل. Then the na is نون الثقيلة. It made the word heavy. So لا يرزقن. So we know there's 3 emphases in this part. Then whom, this will be our مفعول 1, right? And then lafzul jalala is our fa'il, like the sister said. Rizqan, our second maf'ul, and of course rizqan hasanan is a mawsuf sifa. So let's translate that.
Certainly, surely, Allah provided them,
Provides.
provides them a better, that is, provision.
Provides them. I think I'm not going to be writing because it takes me a lot of time to write and my handwriting gets worse every time. Or maybe I can type. I don't know. I think it'll be easier to type maybe. What do I want to do? I want to type. Okay. Certainly, surely, Allah will provide them with a, you can say with a better or a provision or a good provision. Hasanan, good, better. I think either way can work. Okay. Certainly, surely Allah will provide them with a good provision.
The better could be Ahsana, right? It's comparative.
Yeah. So Hasanan already means better. Like, so Hasanan is a okay. We can just make it simple and say with a good provision. Let's just go that way. It makes life easier.
Also, why would you add a will instead of saying Allah provides them?
Because mudari' can be translated in the future. Because there's no future tense in Arabic. There's only 2 tenses. There's madi, there's mudari'. There's no mustaqbal, no future tense.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it can
so
be
that,
provides or will provide.
yeah,
Both.
yeah, it can be. We can say will in brackets.
It will have 2 meanings, right?
Yes, exactly. That's the beauty of the Quran and the Arabic language. So depending on the context of the ayah, what is Allah talking about? Is he talking about this world now? Is he talking about the next world? Is he talking about tomorrow? Is he talking about now? So yeah. And of course, when you talk about provision, it's like it's not now, it's like in future. Allah keeps, it's like also Allah keeps on providing now and tomorrow as well. It has those two meanings. Beautiful. Okay, let's look at قتلوا في سبيل الله.
They were
قتلوا في الماضي.
Mm-hmm.
في سبيل الله متعلق بالفعل.
So this is our فعل. And this is the whole thing is a متعلق بالفعل. Okay. And of course سبيل الله is what?
Part of Allah, مضاف
مضاف
إليه.
إليه.
Yeah. The إضافة. Right, so how do we translate this? Also knowing
They
that,
were caught
They were killed in the path of Allah.
in the path of
Yeah.
Allah.
because قتلوا is passive, so we'll say they were. They were killed in the path of Allah. Allah. Okay. Number 3. إنا أرسلنا إلى قوم لوط.
Inna and ismu inna. Then ursila passive madi. Na file. Nahnu.
What is
No.
that?
Oh, sorry. It's no. We were sent. So it's naibul file.
Yes. That is
Okay.
fine.
Illa is harf of jar.
Mhm.
Then Qawmi is the Qawmi root is the mudaf ilay, and then jar majroor.
Yeah. So the whole thing
Mutaalliq
is,
bil fi'l.
yes, this is a
And
متعلق
the-
بالفعل. And of course, أرسلنا, the whole thing will be the khabar of إنا.
Yeah.
All right.
So, sister, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is emphasizing 3 times, like inna, like we, then ursilna, again we.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes you can even have إنا نحن نزلنا. So like
Yeah, 3
3
yeah.
times.
Mhm.
نحن is mentioned. Yeah. So that's balagha stuff.
It's
Amazing
like
stuff.
certainly we send down.
Yes. Certainly. We sent
Were
down
sent.
on this.
We were sent down. Isn't it passive?
Yeah, we
Yes,
were
we
right.
were sent down. So these are the angels saying. 2.
The
The
people of
nation
Nation
of
of
Lut.
Or
Yeah,
people
the
of
nation or people, sign of Lut. Okay. Number 4. واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. Is it passive or active, by the way? واذكروا.
So it's like
Is
an
it-
Amar.
Amar, right? Yeah.
Okay. Testing you. See if you got the passive. If you just see a dhamma and you're like, passive. Yeah, good. Okay.
Ooh, it's not. Ooh, ee.
Yeah, you start talking monkey codes here. You know. Okay, so how do we translate this? واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون.
So remember Allah
And remember
a lot,
Allah a lot, so that
that
you all can
you are free
become
from successful people.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Kathiran will be a hal.
كثيرا would be, yes, would be, it can be a hal. So how? Remember him a lot. Yeah. Remember a lot so that you're successful, we can say.
So la'alla will be another. Sorry. So the la'allakum will be a starting of jumla ismiya.
No, in this case لعل it's going to be like a مفعول لأجله or مفعول له. Why? So that.
Okay.
So it's connected that way. So this whole sentence is going to be مفعول لأجله to واذكره.
Mafrul li ajlihi or mafrul lahu.
Yes,
Both can be said, right?
that is the name. Either you call it
Oh.
مفعول له or you call مفعول لأجله. They mean the same thing.
Sister, I want to ask in the third question. The
Mhm.
first inna is mubtada,
Yes.
and you named ursilna ila qawmi lutin as khabar.
Yes.
So, as far as the fail starts, all the things that come after it will be considered as khabar only, right?
Yes, whatever comes after the مبتدا, if it's not a متعلق بالخبر, it's going to be the خبر.
So, ila qawmi lutin can be mutaliq bil khabar.
No, because إلى قوم لوط is متعلق to this فعل. You cannot say إنا إلى قوم لوط. Like
Okay.
if you remove the أرسلنا, like it doesn't make sense.
So, it is related to the fail. So, it is considered as mutaliq bil fail.
Yes. So now that this becomes our جملة فعلية, which is في محل رفع خبر of
Okay.
إن.
Question for number 4.
Mhm.
After waskuru, lafzul jalala is maf'ul bihi.
Yes.
Then kasiran is also maf'ul bihi, and then la'allakum tuflihun is also maf'ul bihi.
Okay. So لفظ الجلالة is مفعول به, كثيرا is مفعول حال, لعلكم تفلحون is مفعول له. 3 different kinds of مفعول doing different things. So مفعول به لفظ الجلالة answers the question who. Remember Allah. And then كثيرا answers the question how. Remember Allah how. كثيرا a lot. And then لعلكم تفلحون answers the question why, so that you are successful. You understand?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Right, number 5. قولوا آمنا بالله. Passive or no passive?
Amar.
Our good. All right.
Antum.
Yes. So how do we translate this?
Say, we believe in
Okay.
Allah.
Amanna billahi will be maqul al-qawl, right?
Yes. That's why I put the quotes. So
And
what are we going to
in-
say?
We believe
We believe in Allah.
in Allah. We believe in Allah.
In Allah. And of course, amana comes with B. So don't say that billahi is, well,
With Allah.
yeah.
B doesn't need to
With
be
Allah.
translated, right?
Yes, B doesn't need to be translated in this case.
Amanna is فعل ماضي and billahi is متعلق بالفعل.
You can look at it that way because of the ba harf jar, but amanna comes with ba. So
Okay.
it's like saying billahi
It's
is
مفعول.
مفعول, yeah, it's في
Okay.
محل نسب مفعول به. Who did you believe? You believed Allah, like something like that.
Okay, so the fail which are married with the certain harf, so
You don't
that
translate the
harf,
harf.
yeah, we don't translate that harf, and like while labeling wise also we don't label them as like mutalliq bil fail.
Yeah,
They-
because it's like a zaida. Some of them are like
Mhm.
extra. Although
They
you
just
can.
affect the status, but they are not labeled as mutalliq bil something.
I think you can. You can say like billahi is متعلق بالفعل, like, but you'll have to put like في محل نصب مفعول به. I don't know if I'm making sense there. All right. So let's look at number 6. ومن كل شيء خلقنا زوجين لعلكم تذكرون. So let's break this down little by little because it's starting with a harf of jar. ومن كل, and then there's a مضاف مضاف إليه. So we don't know, is it a جملة فعلية جملة اسمية? We have to keep on reading. So من كل حرف jar there, then كل مضاف شيء مضاف إليه, then you have خلقنا. Once you see a فعل, جملة فعلية. So we know that this first part is what?
متعلق بالفعل.
Yes. متعلق بالفعل مقدم. So we figure that part out. Then خلقنا.
فعل ماضي. نحن.
نحن
تقدير مستتر.
Yes. نعم. زوجين.
مفعول به.
نصب
أها.
مفعول به.
Then you have لعلكم تذكرون.
مفعول هل.
No,
مفعول
له
له.
لأجل.
Yes.
له. Okay.
Yeah. إذا مفعول له أو مفعول لأجله. Yeah. So how do you go about this? So you see in this, you have like three مفعوls. So خلقنا, no, you have two مفعوls. خلقنا, we, that's the فاعل. زوجين مفعول به, and then لعلكم تذكرون مفعول له. Okay.
We created and we
everything.
created from each and everything pairs so that you all remember.
So we can add especially here because it's متعلق بالفعل مقدم. So we just have to figure out like where the اختصاص or where the specialness comes in. So so it could be, and we especially created from everything. I don't know if that works. Maybe we can also look at the translation and how they did it. But we understand that because it's muqaddam, there's something special happening. Yeah. زوجين. You can say pairs or yeah, pairs works. So that لعلكم تذكرون. تذكروا.
Remember, remind.
That you remember. تذكر. تذكر. So that you. I don't know if it means remind as well. I think it means to remember. I'm not so sure.
Just now we did above, no?
This is ذكر. This is to remember. ذكر. This is تذكر. But I think it also means to remember with a little bit of
To
emphasis.
ponder.
Yeah, remember, ponder, reflect. Yeah, I think those are better. Reflect.
Yeah, you look at everything and then you ponder and reflect at the
Yeah.
creation.
Yeah.
You've missed a U after so that.
Huh. Oh yeah, so that you so that you remember, yes. All of you, because it's plural. Okay, good. Right, we come to this section. Place all the harakat. I don't think we'll be able to to finish this exercise today. I thought we would, but we'll see. We'll see what we can be able to do. You will advise me at the end of the class if we continue with these exercises or we go to the next topic. But let's finish this part at least. So place all the harakat, then translate the following sentences from Arabic to English. Number 1, what do you guys think? They've given us the first haraka. There's a dhamma on the first haraka. Yeah. So we could be dealing with a majhul. So what do you think? Is it u'a or u'i?
جميعنا في الغرفة غرفة الرزقاء.
What is this? Ruzaqa, I think. Zuraqa.
زرقاء.
Okay. جميعنا في الغرفة الزرقاء. No, زرقاء. This is how stupid. This is a color. This means
It is
blue.
green, right?
Blue.
Blue.
Yeah. I was wondering what word is this. It's the feminine version of azraq. So because al-ghurfa has a ta marbuta, so the description has to be feminine. So zarqa. That's why.
And because there is an alif lam, it can be fully flexible.
Exactly. That's why az-zurqa'i. Az-zarqa'i. Okay. How do we translate this then? جمعنا في الغرفة الزرقاء.
We were gathered in a blue color room.
Yeah.
A blue room.
In a blue room, yeah. So we were gathered in a blue room. Okay. Then we have this other number 2. So this one you kind of have to like read through the entire sentence to know, is it tu, is it ta, is it ti? Is it does it have a sukun? What's happening with the ta at the end here?
منعت.
Why did you pick ana version? منعت.
I was forbidden.
Yeah. So
Baiti sahibiti, my friend's house.
here at the
My
end
companion.
it talks about my. Okay, so it cannot be, but you can actually say you were prevented from going to my friend's house. You know, like yeah, it can happen. So depending on what the person is intending, or
Or
she
we
was
can say
prevented.
he. Yes.
Yeah. So this is how Arabic is tricky without the harakat. It could be muni'tu, muni'ta, muni'ati, muni'at. Anyway. So min الذهاب إلى
إلى
أها،
بيت
بيتي صاحبي.
صاحب.
صاحبي.
Sahibi.
Right. And that would mean
I was forbidden, prevented,
yeah, we can go with prevented, yes.
going to my friend's house.
Yeah. I was prevented from going to my friend's house. Number 3.
ذكروا بآيات ربي.
ذكروا بآيات ربهم. ذكروا. Is that passive or active?
Passive.
Passive.
UI. So
They were remembered.
They were remembered.
reminded.
Or
Reminded.
reminded or remembered. Reminded.
Yeah.
Ayat
Reminded
of
me.
their master.
Of their, or I'm just gonna say Rabb because Rabb is such a big word. Okay, number 4. Any questions so far?
Zukiru also come with the ba.
Yes, I think, yeah. Number 4.
A quick question on number 3.
Uh-huh.
The workbook has a shadda on the kaf. Would it make a difference?
It would actually, it would mean reminded actually, because we were trying to say they were remembered and it wasn't making sense. So if you put a shadda here, dukkiru, then they were reminded. Then the translation actually makes sense. Yeah, dukkiru. Yeah, if you just say dukiru, they were remembered. But dukiru, they were reminded.
Makes sense.
Number 4.
ظلموا في أرضهم ثم أخرجوا منها.
ثم أخرجوا.
They were oppressing their land. They were oppressors in their land. And then أخرجوا منها, and they were removed out of it.
Expelled upon it.
They were oppressed.
They were oppressed in their land, then they were expelled
From it.
from it.
Yes. Okay, we can finish, I think, up to number 6, and then we can see what else to do. What do you guys think? No. Nusiha. Okay, we can go with that.
بترك السيئات.
بترك السيئات. So you can say nusihat, you can say nusihtu, you can say nusihta, depending on who you want to do, who you're talking about. So it can be any one of those. But if you pick nusihat, then we have to translate accordingly. So how do
She advised.
was?
She as wise
She
Was
was advised.
Yes.
about leaving the bad things.
Yeah. living. We can just say bad things. I don't know a better translation for sayyihat.
Even I didn't got it.
Yeah.
Evil things or bad things. Evil
Yeah.
actions or something like that.
Yeah, or evil. Yeah, we can say evil actions. I don't know how they translated it in the answer key, so maybe we'll take a look and see. Then you have
Sayyat,
Bad deeds, I think. Bad deeds.
bad deeds. Ah, okay. Bad deeds. Let's do that.
Sayyat not be sins.
Or sins, yes. Yeah. That works. Last one.
Ukrimtu.
Okay. So again, the same thing with this. When you have they've actually given us a
They've
dhamma.
already given.
Good. But otherwise, we would be struggling. Is it anta? Is it ana? Is it anti? What's happening? So, ukrimtu.
في مدينة
مدينتكم
هذه.
Yes. أكرمتم في مدينتكم هذه. Which would mean
I was honored
honored
in your city.
in this city of yours.
yes, in this city of yours. So remember هذه came at the end because مدينتكم is a مضاف مضاف إليه. So when you're pointing to an إضافة, the هذه comes at the end. We did this already. Okay, so I think we can end there. We have really gone slowly. But yeah, not what I expected. At least I expected to finish part 1. We didn't do that. So you can advise me what we need to do because it's already time. And there are 4 parts to this workbook. So there's part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So there's like 3 more parts to this passives exercises. Do you want us to continue with these exercises tomorrow, or should we go to the next topic tomorrow and you can do this on your own? What do you guys think?
Let's continue. I think
Yeah, please, can we continue?
very beneficial. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. I can go as slow as you guys want. I'm not in a hurry. And you shouldn't be in a hurry either to learn, because it's important to actually understand what we are doing.
This is very beneficial. Can we do it together?
Yeah,
It's
we
fun
can do it.
too
Alhamdulillah.
doing together.
Okay, great. So we'll just continue off tomorrow from where we left off, these exercises. And we'll also look at the answer key to just make sure we didn't make any mistakes. And we will continue off from there. I don't know if there's any questions on the topic, or I can end the session and then maybe I can stay for a couple of minutes. Oh, by the way, just to mention, yesterday's class, somebody asked about Aina, because we were talking in the EMSA book, there was Ism Istifham Aina, and she was asking about the status of the Ism, and I did mention that it is fi mahali nasab, but I just wanted to clarify that they're actually called Adawatul Istifham. I know I said they're called Asma'ul Istifham, but I checked it out. They're actually called Adawatul Istifham. And whenever you see the word Adawat, means it has both harf and ism. Like there are some of those tools that are ism and some of them are harf. So they're called Adawatul Istifham because some of them are harf, some of them are ism. I just wanted to clarify that. And Aina is an ism actually. It is في محل نصب ظرف. Okay. So I'm just gonna end the recording here. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.